Hey y'all, my name is Ayana and this is Everything Grows, where we talk about growing from where we are. So this is our first self-support video on this channel. I actually had these videos on my personal channel when I was just getting started and figuring out what kind of messages I wanted to extend to the community and give people so that they could themselves create self-supporting relationships. So this video is about what do we do in the beginning? When you get to the beginning and you're looking around and you say, I kind of want people to look at me differently. I kind of want to show up differently, but you might not know where to start. So these are 3 steps to get you kicked off into that journey. So self-support, let's get clear. 3 steps to move forward. And I got my other computer over here so I can do my clicking. I'm so excited about this, y'all. This is part of my self-support, figuring out the things that work best for me to be able to achieve the things that I want to do. I've always wanted to set up and do these kinds of videos, but I kind of didn't know how to do it, but now I have the tools. So let's clear it. First, we prepare the soil. Next one is planting the seeds. And third and finally is sprouting. And the first question that we should be asking ourselves, why is it important to create a self-supporting relationship? For me, it was very important to create a relationship with myself. Let me go back to the big screen. It was very important for me to create a relationship with myself that was self-supporting because I realized that I was trying to receive my self-esteem or receive my self-confidence or that boost in my just abilities from those that were around me. Not really looking into myself, not really concerning myself with how proud I am of myself or anything in the beginning. And that was my biggest thing, to realize that my confidence and my encouragement, my kudos and my victories always should come from me first and not really from the people around me, because I'm the person that's doing the work. So let's move forward. And so you should ask yourself, why is it important for me to create a self-supporting relationship? Maybe it's because you might want to do some different things. You don't necessarily have the support around you, or you just building yourself up. So it's important to do this for your goals. It's important to do this for, again, your self-esteem and self-confidence. And most of all, it's important for you because of the way that you live your life. Like, you are always with yourself. You have to love on yourself. And for a lot of times I talk about how at this age, like I'm 25, I'll be 26 next month. So shout out to all the Pisces. But for this time, this is the first time that I can love on myself and care for myself the way that I have always wanted to. And that's for everybody, even if you're younger than me, whatever ways that you can love for yourself and care for yourself, please go ahead and do them now. Don't wait until later. Whatever activities you're interested in, all that good stuff, go ahead and do it now. So first thing, prepare the soil. You have to identify and acknowledge existing challenges, stressors, unsupportive behaviors, and beliefs. So this could look like different people that might be in your life. This could look like certain habits that are in your life. This could look like, and when I talk about habits, of course, I mean all the things that we do, our libations, not libations, but if you are drinking, if you are smoking, if you are engaging in relations with people, like I'm real out here. Like, if this is how you prepare the soil, you look at yourself and you uncover those things that might not be as supportive as you would like them to be, and you have to be honest with yourself. And one thing that I would say about learning how to change behaviors is that you're not missing out on anything, just the old way that you used to live your life. And for a lot of us, that could be very good to leave those behaviors behind. So I do have a journal, and that is broken down into these 3 sections. And I want to read the first part. Prepare the soil. We wonder, how did I get here? Everything we see is a result of what we have decided to focus on. And for a considerable amount of us, sitting in our own energy with just the idea that what we have to face, our thoughts, can be intense. That is the place where we desire the most understanding. That is the place where we make up the truth of what we see. That is the place where we hold the things about us that we want no one to know. And those are the things that we might not want anyone to know. You hold the truth of who you are. Now, whether you speak the truth about who that is, that's a different story. Take time in this section to, again, cultivate the soil, loosening the grips of your obstacles, and creating a receptive environment for growth. And this is, again, like, what do you do when you first are, planting? you prepare the soil, you get all of the impurities out of it in that case. But in this case, it's really like taking a real good survey of your life, a real hard survey of your life, and deciding what's working for me and what's not. And one thing that I love to say is that if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And I think that as we move on in life, it's way easier to maneuver through life when you don't question yourself, when you don't question your first thought. A lot of times that first thought of what you want to do, of course, if it's a positive thought of what you want to do, because a lot of times it's followed by that negative, or it's followed by a reason of why shouldn't I, or why should I. You have to follow your intuition, follow your personal power, and do the things that you know are right for you to do, and not consider too much about what everybody else has going on. I think often, what I've seen often is that when people have an idea or just things that they want to do for themselves, you can start thinking about, oh, what about this, or what about that? And it's often just like, you just have to do what you want to do where you, and go where you want to go. So again, these challenges could be in addition to, weight loss. It's so many different things, work systems. And I will encourage people in that as well. Do things that you love. Like, don't be afraid of finances. A lot of times we stay in jobs and we stay in different positions because of the fear that we'll fail, or the fear of whether or not we'll get something else. But how about you try to ask, what if I do get something else? What if this does work out? What if my new idea does work out? Everything is not going to be easy. It just takes time. And I think that's what a lot of times we want: instant gratification, or we want something to happen right here at this moment. But a lot of times it takes for us to learn different steps and go through different means of understanding in order to get to where we want to go. The next section is planting the seeds. This is your intervention. So we're planting self-supporting seeds, beneficial thoughts, coping strategies, and self-supporting routines. I'm going to go ahead and go into my journal for this part as well. The ability to choose where you are growing gives you the freedom and authority over your life. A lot of times we can give our freedom and give our decision making and choice making to others without even recognizing it, and subconsciously doing things just because somebody else's thought process is to do it, or involving ourselves in other things just because this person. And a lot of times, like, what self-support is about is being your own influence, being purely your own influence. Of course, you could take notes from other people, but a lot of times you really know what you want to do. You really know what it needs to be. How many times have you asked yourself, should I be doing this anymore? Or how many times have you looked at something that you want to do and you just haven't gotten to do it yet? Sometimes it takes for you to just push through that barrier, push through that energy to just say, I'm going to do it. And that's also part of what we call of consistency. A lot of times consistency, you don't have to feel like you want to do it in order to be consistent. And that's a huge lesson that I've learned with exercising. I don't always want to exercise, but I do it because that's something that I need to do for my mental stability, for my mental health, for me to just get throughout my day, to get energy. I can tell right now, y'all, I'm so high energy and I'm so passionate about a lot of things and about my life, period. I'm so passionate and so high energy about life and about living life and loving the air of life. And with that, sometimes you got to find different ways to get your energy out. So do you have different hobbies that you like to do? Do you have things that you like to do? You have things to fill your time? If you are a video gamer, play your video games in the time that you have to settle down. But also, we understand that anything in excess can be an issue. So we have to make sure that we also bring balance into our routines and map them out how we want to. So I'm going to keep on reading. So what behaviors do you bring into your regular routines that hinder you from being productive? Remember that this is an individual, that it is you as an individual who you are truly responsible of. Be sure to be kind to yourself and extend gratitude to your inner self for understanding that some things simply need to change. There's no space for negative self-talk on the road to becoming more self-aware. I'm so glad that I picked up the book because it's y'all, I spent a lot of time on this journal, but it puts things in a great landscape for you to deliver them. So these seeds planted should be aligned with personal goals, values, and ensuring a deliberate and purposeful planting process. And when I talk about being deliberate and purposeful, is what are your intentions? That's going to be my next video, talking about intentions and intentionality and what does that actually mean. um, a lot of times when we come into these coping strategies, that's another big one. When we talked about behaviors in the last part, we do talk about different things that we want to do, and some people do use other methods to cope, and it could be a negative method or it could be a positive method. It's just in a matter of how do you use it, how much do you involve yourself, are you abusing whatever you're doing? Because a lot of people don't understand eating habits, exercising, too much of anything can be a problem. That's what I already explained. But too much of anything could definitely be an issue. So when you're planting these seeds, make sure that you check yourself on like things that you're holding on to that you might need to forgive yourself for. Another part be, how can you be a better advocate for yourself? What are ways that, how do you want to feel about yourself? How do you feel about yourself in this moment? And how do you want to feel about yourself? Another thing, like anything is possible. Growth is possible in any way. It's just a mindset shift. And a lot of people, of course, if you have other like mental disabilities, or if you have mental disabilities, or you have physical disabilities, that's another thing. But there's always ways that you can maneuver and make things work for yourself. And that's really what self-support, again, it's all about: doing the things that are necessary for you, going after the things that are necessary for you, not necessarily caring about what is working for this person, what's working for that person. If you, of course, it's there for you to try it, but we're not saying, oh, this works for them, so it has to work for me. That's not necessary. We are all different. From the time that we were born, our DNA is our DNA. The way that we were created, there is no one else like you. And that's what my middle school used to always say. They say, there's no one like you. And I believe that until this day. There's no one like you. There's no one with the thoughts that you have. There's no one with the things that you are made of, ever. So if you have ideas, if you have just things that you want to do, or if you just want to chill, maybe that's your job to chill, to lead a life of chilling. But whatever feels the most comfortable for you, and when you are not afraid to live in your truthfulness and live in your authenticity, you can move through life in a beautiful way. And I learned that for myself when I stopped trying to force things on myself, stop trying to force, like, this is me. Speaking and presenting is me, but it has to be about this, about growing people, about encouraging people, about uplifting people. And that's what we have to also think of as well. Where can you use your skills that you already have to become greater, to make spaces greater, and to become better? Always go where you are welcome. Always go where you feel comfortable. Period. The next thing, the next point, last but not least, is sprouting. Sprouting. Allow the methods that you've created to work. So the first one being patience, next being perseverance, and last but not least, recognition of your continuous growth. When you are on this continuous journey, life will bring you new lessons. It brings you new epiphanies and new understandings. But considering what you've learned about yourself and who you want to become, you have to use the space to describe how you want to move forward. So that might be, how, what does my ideal day look like? That's a question that you can ask yourself for when you're getting ready to sprout. What does my ideal day look like? And you can do that through journaling. You can do that through meditation. You can do that through video. One thing that I love to do when I was really, really deep into trying to uncover where I was going is video diaries. I love to like just open up the camera and just talk about what was going on, because we all need a space to vent. And don't feel, what's the word, crazy. Don't feel crazy about needing spaces to vent, especially if you don't have anyone around you that you're comfortable with venting to. And it doesn't even have to be that you're not comfortable. Maybe the words don't come together as easily when you're trying to voice them to someone else. Or maybe you actually don't want to hear anybody's opinion about what you have going on or what you need to do. You have to consider, how do you want to continue your days and spend your days to maximize your experience of life? Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you have to look over your life and say, what kind of decisions have I made for myself? what have I done for myself to become better? What have I done for myself to hinder myself? It's all within you. You are completely responsible for yourself. And that's even with however young you are, however old you are in this, you are always responsible for yourself, and you have to decide what kind of consequence you want to accept. And the consequences could be good or bad, but the consequence is always just the reaction to the effect. So when you're done with your routine of tilling the soil, planting your seeds, and sprouting, this is a continuous cycle that you can go through with any situation in your life. If you want to show up differently in life, if you have like small issues in life, if you want to go down and tackle different sectors, love, relationships. Well, love is one thing. Relationships are another thing, because you have relationships with all different kind of people. Finances, how you want to go about just recreating your life. Or it doesn't even have to be recreating. It could be upgrading. What the people say, level up. All of the different places. There are so many different ways that you can encourage yourself to become better and do better. And here we are at the end. Be intentional and keep growing, friends. I am really excited. I feel like I got through this in a really good speed at a really good moment. I'm really excited to start these videos. And if you all have any topics that you all want to talk about, I'm going to pull out my phone. Look, let me go back to main screen. Okay, big screen. So I'm going to pull out my phone and talk about a few of the topics that I'm definitely going to be getting into. But I hope that this information was good for you all to just get yourself started on your personal self-support journey, to know that you are capable of anything that you desire to do. You just have to do it in a way that works for you. So let me see, because I know I had some lists. So yes, so I have joy as a lifestyle, and attitude of gratitude. We love an attitude of gratitude. What is fear? And also resolutions. A lot of time when we started, that's when we talked about the New Year's resolution. What is your New Year's resolution? What is your New Year's resolution? And it's like, I don't know, to be intentional. Let your resolution be whatever you want it to be, but also just live life. Also want to encourage everybody, if you are someone who's in a space where you are like upset and angry, or just completely sad a lot of the time, be sure to take that moment to reflect within yourself and see what's going on around you, to see what kind of people, because everybody's energy is influential. As much as we want to say like we could be unbothered and all of those other things, everybody's influence is very present. We are human beings. Our energy definitely can rub off on each other. I know y'all have seen, if somebody come in a room and they don't have that attitude, it could be two different things. You could imagine somebody coming into the room with like this bright, positive, bright, bubbly energy. And of course, I'm Ayana Sunshine, so sunshine is given. But also, I had another nickname that was Dark and Stormy, because my energy could be so magnetic that if I wasn't having a good day, it's giving dark and stormy. It's giving cloud over my head. So just be mindful of your energy. Be mindful of how you're moving throughout the world. And again, keep growing, friends. And I'm very excited to get this series started. Peace out, y'all.